Hey y'all, I'm throwing a sausage party and you're invited. Sausage Party is the new Seth Rogen film by Seth Rogen's production company, Point Grey, and of course Sony. I don't even know where to begin. This movie was adequate. I'm gonna say it was a decent movie. Really, really solid animation. I think it's really nice to see something in the comedy genre that isn't strictly live action. And it's very rare that you see an animated comedy for adults. The last major film that was in the same vein was probably Team America: World Police. And that came out in 2004. So it was nice to see something new that really hits a niche audience, and I hope to see more stuff like this. Unfortunately, this movie was definitely hampered by some, I don't want to say shoddy writing, but I will say that the writing definitely, the script could have probably used one or two more passovers at least. I hate to be the one to say this because I use profanity all the time, but there's a little bit too much cursing in this movie. And normally I don't care. You got to use it the right way. Here it felt stilted and forced. It gets a bit grating when every other word out of a character's mouth is fuck. You know, Seth Rogen's character sitting there like, hey, good fucking morning. That's not a Seth Rogen impression. That's like fat Pee Wee Herman. Every word out of every other character's mouth is fuck. And, they pepper it in here for funniness, but it just is like, okay, we get it. Just move the fuck on. That was an issue, and I think that the main reason why the writing didn't flow as well as it normally does in Seth Rogen comedies is because they didn't really have a chance to ad-lib as much as they would have liked to. Because when you're dealing with stuff like animation, you can't get the same range that you get out of a human actor. That's obvious. There's a little bit less creativity there than there normally is because the actors are a bit put into a box. Comedy, especially comedy from people like Seth Rogen and like Will Ferrell and stuff, those types of comedies, they do a hell of a lot better when you can actually ad-lib. I mean, it's not as constricting as film, I would say. And when I say film, I mean actual film in strips. Not this shit. I could take 50 takes on this. With animation, it's a little bit more lenient, obviously, but you're not going to be able to do the type of stuff they did with This Is the End, where they could just sit there and have Danny McBride and James Franco arguing with each other for over 20 minutes over a porno mag, that go and watch the Blu-ray copy of This Is the End. They have a million outtakes from that film. And when Sausage Party comes out on DVD and Blu-ray, probably not going to have any outtakes. Or if they are, they're all going to be from inside the booth, stuff that would never have made it into the movie anyway. This movie has a great voice cast. You got so many famous people in here. A lot of the people that Judd Apatow really likes to work with. A lot of the people that Seth Rogen really likes to work with. You've got Craig Robinson, Michael Cera, James Franco, Jonah Hill, Paul Rudd, Kristen Wiig, Selma Hayek. You've got, oh my god, Nick Kroll. There's just a ton of people, and for the most part, the voice acting is spot on. The one voice actor that I wasn't a big fan of was Nick Kroll, and it's not that he's necessarily bad, it's just that his Jersey douche fucking accent, he's, come on bro, what's going on? That shit, it's obnoxious, and it works fine in a 5-minute sketch when he's doing Bobby Bottle service, but over the runtime of an hour and a half movie, that shit needs to be cut out. He's playing the villain in the movie, playing the main antagonist, so he's got a lot of screen time. It just gets really irritating hearing him after a certain point. It's a plus and a minus. his character disappears for like 30 minutes without a really clear explanation, but then he comes back at the end in this really fucked up and disgusting way. It's just like there's this weird gap where he's just not there, and he's pretty, I wouldn't say he's integral to the plot, but you can definitely tell when he's missing. What I really liked about this film is that it had a social commentary that could be relevant at pretty much any point in time. Whereas there's some stuff like South Park, and you watch it like not even a week or two later, and it's no longer relevant. This film deals a lot with religious issues, which I thought was really fascinating. I really like the way they tackled religion in this film. Basically, the main character, Seth Rogen's character, Frank, and his friends, his hot dog buddies, are getting ready to be chosen for 4th of July. And so when you're chosen, you go to this afterlife, like promised land. It's basically supposed to be heaven for food. But then, of course, when they get there, turns out they're about to get fucking murdered. You know? So I thought that was pretty interesting that they sprungboard off of that basic idea, and then they kind of use it as a way to go like, well, what if that happened to humans? You know, we think there's these gods like all around us, and then it turns out that the gods are coming down and they're destroying our lives to gain more power. There's other really hilarious religious commentary, like main storyline, there's a Jewish bagel and like a Muslim flatbread, and they're just arguing the entire time. If you get easily offended, don't go see this movie. But I mean, if you're willing to take a joke at the expense of everyone, of fucking everyone, then go see this movie. The animation for this film was amazing. You know, it was like Pixar, DreamWorks quality, but it was made on this really low budget, which was just shocking. It was just impressive to see this level of detail, and I really hope that the people that worked on this movie get their fair dues, because I heard that some messed up stuff happened with them, and that they weren't getting paid overtime and stuff. No matter how good or bad the movie was overall, they did a phenomenal job, and I think that definitely warrants some acknowledgement. The ending to this movie, oh my god, Jesus fucking Christ, the ending to this movie is the greatest and the most horrific and disturbing thing put to film. I can't spoil it for you. I simply cannot tell you anything about it. And if somebody has told you about it, I'm really sorry. You have got to see this movie simply for the like last 15 or 20 minutes. The rest of the movie, I could give or take. When this movie is funny, it's really funny, and when it's low, it's just it kind of just goes, you know. It's like I could take it or leave it. But that ending alone is definitely worth the price of admission. Only somebody like Seth Rogen could think of it. There are no words. There are no words to describe it without spoiling it. All that being said, I think I'm going to have to give Sausage Party a 7. It wasn't the greatest Seth Rogen movie. It also wasn't the worst. It has a lot of rewatchability, and I think it's a good time. As always, I'm going to leave my pros and cons list at the end here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Kyle. Peace! So that's my review for Sausage Party. Thanks for watching again. And if you liked the video, hit like. If you really liked it, hit the subscribe button. Hopefully it wasn't too off base, but, you know, sometimes stuff is a hit or miss. There's also 2 other videos here for you to watch, and I will see you next time.